Today I am going to teach you the first lesson of geography, resource and development. Now, first of all, I want to tell you the meaning of resource. As you know that everything that satisfy human wants is known as a resource. Everything present in the world which satisfy human wants is a resource. It can be a small thing like a chalk which is made up of, you can say, um, calcium carbonate, is also serving a purpose to write. So it is a resource because it is satisfying human wants. So in this chapter, we are going to study about the things that satisfy human wants and is considered a resource, and how can we conserve our resources and further develop them to satisfy our wants and wants of our future generation. Can you identify? Okay. uh, Now everything, now I'm going to read it so you will be understanding in a more better way. Everything available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our need, provided it is technology accessible, economically feasible and culturally acceptable, can be termed as resource. Now you can see this is a triangle. In between is human beings, and then physical environment, that is nature. Over here is technology, and then institution. Interdependent relationship between nature, technology and institutions. Now here, with the help of a flow chart, they have tried to classify resources in how many uh, resources can be classified into how many types. So first of all, they have broadly classified the resources into two types, that is natural and human. Natural is that is given to human being by the nature. Everything present on the earth and by the nature and is a gift of nature is known as natural resource, and the things which are made by human to satisfy its want is known as human. Okay. Now natural can be further subdivided into two parts, renewable and non-renewable. Renewable resources are those resources which renew itself, means which does not get exhaust or which does not exhaust after it use. It replenish itself. Replenish means it again makes itself. Like you can say, which is a continuous, like flow of wind, water. It is a continuous resource, and so what, how much amount of water we are utilizing it, again it is present in the earth and it replenish itself very fast. It does not get exhausted after its use. It's a continuous flow, like wind. Wind is continuous blowing over the earth. So how much amount of wind we are using it will not diminish. Non-renewable resource. Non-renewable resource are those resources which gets exhausted after its continuous use, means they are not able to replenish itself and they diminish. So they are considered as non-renewable resource. Further, renewable resources are subdivided into two categories: continuous or flow, of example wind and water. Then second is recyclable. Okay, no, sorry, biological. Renewable are further classified into two types, that is continuous or biological. So continuous, which are given to us by the nature, and they are they are always in a flow, that is they are always present on earth and they will not diminish. Example wind and water. Biological, first is it can be classified into two types, that is vegetation, forest and wildlife. So even though how much trees you cut, but still they again grow, and then we can even again we can get wood from the trees. So these forests also replenish itself. Wildlife, because animals have a tendency to reproduce, so even though how much you kill the animals, but still because they reproduce themselves, so they are present on the earth. Now non-renewable. Okay, non-renewable are further subdivided into recyclable and non-recyclable. Recyclable, for example, metals. Metals are present on the earth in a limited quantity, and if we want to use the metal, we have to extract the metal from its ores, and then we can get the metals. But these metals, after their use, for example iron, gold, silver, they can be again processed and they can be again changed into a new object, or you can say we can if we want to renew it, we can smelt it, and after smelting we can give it a new shape and we can make it a new object from the same metal. So, even though metals are present in limited quantity, but they can be recycled and they can be brought into use. Second is non-renewable. Non-renewable, example fossil fuels. So, what are fossils? Fossils are the impressions and the remains of the plants and animals who were there on the earth, they who were present on the earth million of years ago, but when they died, they were buried and layers of mud and sediments deposited on their dead bodies, and due to the accumulation of sediments and mud, they and high pressure, and due to high pressure they have changed into fossils, that is they have changed their physical form into fossil fuels, that is they have converted into natural gas and petroleum. So it took millions of years to change these living organisms into fossil fuels, and they are also in limited quantity. So once they are used and are exhausted, then they cannot be renewed, because once they are used, they lose their chemical properties. Physical properties can be renewed, but once chemical properties change, then they cannot be brought into its original form. So they cannot be used, and hence they diminish from the earth. And for example, petroleum, natural gas, etc. And so fossil fuels should be used very judiciously. Now, in humans, the resources made by human are of two types: structures and institution, quantity and quality. Okay, so structure and institutions means the first of all, how they are making it, what technology and things they are using to process and change the raw material into a finished product, so that it can be used by the man. That is structures and institution, in which all the industries and technological institutions comes, in which through which they undergo a process, and the raw materials are changed into finished products. And then we have the government also, through which policies also influence it. Quantity and quality means it determines the quantity and quality. So through this flow chart, I tried to explain you the classification of resources. Now, types of resources. How many types of resources are there? On the basis of origin. Origin means from where they have got evolved. So on the basis of origin, we classify the resources into two types, that is biotic resource and abiotic resource. Biotic resource uh, are referred to all plants and living organisms, plants, animals and living organisms that are present on the earth, and who can further reproduce themselves and into a and give birth to a future of offspring. They are known as biotic resource, and they make our biosphere. Then abiotic resource are the physical environment on the earth, example water, then land, soil, and mountains, rivers. All these are abiotic resource. Wind. Then on the basis of exhaustibility, we can divide the resources into two types, that is renewable resource and non-renewable resource. Renewable resources are those resources which can replenish itself after its use. Even though we continuously use these resources, but they will never finish, because they replenish themselves. For example, wind and water. Okay, then non-renewable resources are those resources which gets exhausted after its use, and they diminish, means they finish. and these occur over a very long geological time, means a period of time. Minerals and fossils fuel are example of such resources. These resources take millions of years in their formation. Then, on the basis of ownership, we categorize the resources into four types, that is that is individual resources, community owned resources, national resources, and international resources. So what are individual resources? Individual resources relates to the property which belongs to an individual, that is your land. It can be land for agricultural purpose or for industries. Then houses, the land on which you construct the house. So all these are your property and it belongs to you. You have owned it. So that is known as individual resource. Then community owned resources are those resources which are accessible to all members of the community. Village common grazing ground, burial ground, village, public park, picnic spots, playgrounds in urban areas are the de facto accessible to all the people living there. Then national resources which belong to the country, the resources which comes under the boundary of the country, within the territories of the country, and that the people of that nation can use it. All the minerals, it includes the agricultural land, the forested land, all the minerals, resources, forest, wildlife, land within the political boundaries, and oceanic areas up to 12 nautical miles. And means not only the land within the territories, land, river, water, inland water within the territories, but it also covers the oceanic water, which is 12 nautical miles from the boundary, that is 22.2 kilometers from the coast, termed as territorial water, and resources therein belong to the nation. Then international resources, there are international institutions which regulate some resources. The oceanic resources beyond 200 nautical miles of the exclusive economic zone belonging to open ocean, and no individual country can utilize it within the concurrence of international institutions. Means beyond 22 nautical miles, 22.2, or you can say beyond 12 nautical miles, whatever oceans are there from beyond the territories of the country, they all come in the international resources, and they are utilized by all the people of all the countries. They do not come under the authority of anyone. They come only in the authority of the international institutions. Then on the basis of the status of development, we have the potential, developed, resources, stock, and reserves. So on the basis of development, we categorize them into four parts, that is potential resources, the resources which are present but are not utilized, but they can be utilized in a future. They are known as potential resources because the country is not able to access it due to lack of technology. But whenever the technology is available, these resources can be utilized. So they are known as potential resources. Resources which are found in a region but have not been utilized. For example, the western part of India, particularly Rajasthan and Gujarat, have enormous potential for the development of wind and solar energy, but so far these have not been developed properly. Then developed resources are those resources whose which are utilized by the people because their technology is the to use that resources, the technology is available to us, and with the help of the technology and the money, these resources can be assessed and can be used. Resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization, they are known as developed resources. The development of resources depends on technology and the level of their feasibility. Stock. Stock is that minerals in the environment which have the potential to satisfy human needs, but human beings do not have the appropriate technology to access these, are included among the stock. For example, water is a compound of two inflammable gases, hydrogen and oxygen, which can be used as a rich source of energy, but we do not have the required technology and know how to use them. Reserves. Reserves are the subset of the stock which can be put into use with the help of existing technical know-how. Means they are also the reserves of the subset. Stock are like potential resource only, the resources which are present on the earth. The resources which are present on the earth but their technology is not there. For example, water, so it's made up of two chemical compound, it's made up of two chemicals, and if we want to take out one chemical then we are not able to because we don't have the technology, but if when we'll have in future then we can use that resource to satisfy our want. And reserves are the subset which can be put into but their use has not been started. Okay, so these are the types of resources.